Welcome to Legends Eternal TV. On today's show, we ask the question, what really happened to Friends star Matthew Perry? Was it just a sad accident, or was there more to the story? When the world heard the heartbreaking news of his death, many thought it was just another tragic case of an actor battling addiction. But as the investigation went deeper, shocking details came to light. Perry had become a victim of a dangerous ketamine-dealing ring involving high-profile people, including doctors, and run by a woman known as the Ketamine Queen. This story is not only about one man's fight with addiction, it's also about how people used him for money, a secret drug trade, and another tragic Hollywood death. Today, we'll reveal the full story behind Perry's untimely death, the people who took advantage of his struggle, his $120 million fortune, and the dark truth about another life lost. Chapter 1. The Tragic Day and Initial Reactions. On October 28, 2023, people were shocked to hear that Matthew Perry, the actor best known for playing Chandler Bing on Friends, was found dead at his Los Angeles home. At first, it seemed he had drowned in his hot tub. Many thought this was a sad outcome of his long struggle with addiction. Perry had always been open about his problems with alcohol and drugs, spending millions on rehab and wanting to help others. But as the investigation continued, a darker story came to light. Perry had been using ketamine for his depression, but not in the usual way. Several people, including doctors, his personal assistant, and a woman known as the Ketamine Queen, were involved. It appeared that instead of helping Perry, these people took advantage of him. His death seemed less like an accident, and more like the result of people exploiting his struggles for their own gain. Chapter 2. The Rise of the Ketamine Queen. Jasveen Sangha, the alleged mastermind behind the operation, became a central figure in the investigation into Perry's death. Dubbed the Ketamine Queen by prosecutors, Sangha wasn't your typical street dealer. She operated on a much larger scale, reportedly running what investigators called a drug-selling emporium out of her North Hollywood home. Sangha catered to the rich and famous, making her a go-to source for Hollywood's elite who wanted easy access to illegal substances without raising suspicion. Authorities claim that Sangha sold Perry 50 vials of ketamine for around $11,000, which is a much higher price than usual. She knew ketamine could be dangerous but kept selling it to make money. Sangha was also linked to a 2019 overdose case where a man named Cody McClory died after buying ketamine from her. More on this later in the video. Many people were shocked by how cold-hearted she seemed. When police searched Sangha's home, they found over 80 vials of ketamine, thousands of other drugs like methamphetamine, cocaine and Xanax, and even a handgun. It became clear that Sangha was running a dangerous and well-organized operation that eventually led to Matthew Perry's death. Chapter 3. The Doctors and Dealers Who Exploited Perry. Jasveen Sangha wasn't working alone. A group of doctors, including Dr. Salvador Plasencia, was involved in providing Perry with ketamine at very high prices. Dr. Plasencia, a licensed doctor, took advantage of Perry's addiction. He even called Perry a moron in private messages, questioning how much he could charge him. Perry ended up paying nearly $55,000 for just 20 vials of ketamine, which normally cost less than $12 each. As Perry's addiction got worse, so did his relationship with Dr. Plasencia. Instead of helping, Plasencia saw a chance to make more money. In one incident, he met with Perry and his assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, in a parking lot to give Perry a ketamine injection. Another time, Plasencia gave Perry a large dose at his home, causing Perry to freeze up and have a spike in blood pressure. Even though Plasencia saw Perry's condition worsening, he continued to supply him with more ketamine. Perry's assistant, Iwamasa, also played a key role in his downfall. Iwamasa, who had no medical training, gave Perry more than 20 shots of ketamine in the 4 days leading up to his death, following Plasencia's instructions. On the day Perry died, Iwamasa injected him 3 times. His actions led to serious charges, and he has since pleaded guilty. Chapter 4. A dark cover-up and another victim. After Perry's death, It became clear that those involved in his ketamine addiction were not just dealers and doctors, but also clever at hiding their actions. Investigators found that they tried to cover their tracks by using code words for ketamine like Dr. Pepper and by deleting messages. Eric Fleming, a key person in the case, even told Sanger that he was 90% sure everyone is safe. Sanger's involvement in Perry's death was just one part of a bigger story. The investigation also linked her to the 2019 overdose death of Cody McClory. Sanger had sold ketamine to McClory before he overdosed. When McClory's family confronted her, accusing her of selling the drugs that killed him, Sanger didn't show any remorse. Instead, she searched online to find out how to avoid blame, asking, "Can ketamine be listed as a cause of death?" This lack of concern for human life reveals the cold heart of a seasoned dealer of illegal drugs that took advantage of people across Hollywood for numerous years. Chapter 5: Perry's Legacy and the Impact of His Death. Matthew Perry was more than just a famous actor. He was someone who, despite facing tough times, openly talked about his struggles with addiction to help others. In his 2022 memoir, he shared how deep his battles with alcohol and drugs went, and he talked about the millions of dollars he spent trying to stay sober. Perry didn't hide from his issues, and his honesty made him relatable to fans around the world. After his death, the Matthew Perry Foundation was started to continue its mission of helping people who are struggling with addiction. His words stand out on the Foundation's website. "When I die, I want to help others to be the first thing that's mentioned." The arrests made in connection with his death have drawn attention to the dangers of ketamine and the need to address addiction responsibly. As the investigation moves forward, many hope that Perry's story will act as a warning. It reminds us how easy it is for people with addiction to be taken advantage of by those looking to make money. While his death is tragic, it could help save lives by raising awareness about the misuse of ketamine and the need to support people who are battling addiction. Matthew Perry's death shows how addiction can be used to make money. The Ketamine Queen and dishonest doctors took advantage of him when he was at his weakest. Even though he's gone, Perry's legacy lives on through his foundation, reminding us to care for and support those who are fighting addiction. What do you think? Was Perry's death avoidable? Should those involved face harsher penalties? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below,